What is going on, everybody? My name is Nick Valley.
My name is Jonah Dockenai, and we're
This is
Rev Rock Revolution!
Okay, we have a great one for you guys today. I am so excited about this interview today. I think it is going to be so much fun. Jameson, what is going on? Welcome to the show.
I love that energy there, fellas. That is an intro right there. That's how you do it.
That's what we always bring to the show. 110%, man.
That's what you need. That's how you set the pace right there. I love it.
It's rock
I'm
and
very
roll
excited
energy.
to be on. Thank y'all for having us.
It's rock and roll energy.
I love it.
You know a thing or two about that.
It's very important. Very important.
Very important. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Dude, I'm at the beach, off tour at the moment. Living the dream, man. No complaints whatsoever, dude.
That sounds amazing.
I know, happy to be talking to y'all, man. I know we talked a bunch over the past while about shows and stuff, but it's nice to put a name to a face and see you do your thing, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. Yeah. For everybody who's a viewer of our show, give them a little bit of background here. We were like supposed to do a gig out on Long Island.
We were,
correct. We were going to open. Yeah. And it didn't come together for one reason or another, but we've managed to, I think, keep together and in touch pretty well.
Yeah.
And
it's been pretty on and off, but constant in touch. And I think that place went out of business that we were going to play. I can't remember the name of the venue.
Did they?
I think it went out of business. Yeah, that's what I heard. Either that or
shit, I loved that place.
What was it? Amityville. Was it Amityville?
Amityville Music Hall. Did it go out of business?
I heard they went out of business. I don't know. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I heard it went out of business.
Terrible.
So, but yes, dude, been staying in touch and keeping up with your tunes and everything. Looks like y'all been doing great and everything. And yeah, man. Good to be here, dude.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Wow.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm just still shocked about the venue. I love that place. But on a happier note, I am glad to have you here today. And speaking of touring and stuff, we're going to talk all about that in a second.
I can't wait.
Because I know you guys have been at it.
We've been road dogging it for a while now. Yep.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Dude,
Jonah knows a tour thing about that life.
You guys both band guys?
Just a little bit.
What band are you in?
Yeah, my band is called Jinx. Cool. Yeah, I'm in a band with my brother and dad. We play metal music. We're based in California, and we've been starting the tour in this
heavy
past
hitters.
year and a half.
Okay. They're heavy hitters. They're like new rock and old school thrash combined. And
I'm into that, man. Cool I like heavy hitting, man. I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. Dude shreds his ass off. This guy sings and shreds his ass off.
No way. Hard to do both, man. Doing both at the same time is not as easy as it looks.
There was no metal people in my world in my town, so I had to do both just out of necessity.
Just to get the band going, man. I know what you mean.
Yeah. Exactly. It's fair enough. Yep.
Well,
I always joke it's the metal Partridge Family. It's been great for me as well. I've been doing more solo stuff, but I am now more recently kind of putting together more of a band kind of thing project. And I was supposed to open with you like a cover band that I was in, or
dude,
I still play with them, but I'm not.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I remember you saying that. You were like, I'm in this band, but my solo stuff, that's my stuff, like that's what I do, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So I saw you've been putting out tunes. I've been keeping up. It's a great deal, man. Yeah,
Thank you,
I need to come up and play it. We still need to put the show together, man. That still was a great idea, man. I don't know. I guess the date ended up not working out is what it was. But we just did our first run through kind of your area. We did New York City, and then we did Brooklyn, and we did Boston and Nantucket and Charlotte.
How was that?
It was awesome, dude. It was just for a couple Southern boys, it was a really cool experience because honestly, none of us had really ever been. We'd been to New York a couple times, like class trips and stuff, but like this was the first time as a full adult on our own steam, going through the north, like driving like 30 hours north, So it was great, dude.
I think sure.
Mercury Lounge in New York City was definitely like a marquee, that was
shit.
Really cool.
That's amazing.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome. Yeah, we headlined Mercury Lounge, had great sales on like a Tuesday night, which is hard to do on a Tuesday.
Oh,
most of us.
Yeah, that's
props to you. Yeah, that's a big deal.
And it was Mercury Lounge just 2 shows a night. I don't know if you've ever been, but so they do a show at 7 and they do a show at 9:30. So it wasn't just Tuesday; it was late night Tuesday. So we started at 11 on Tuesday, and I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty damn late for a Tuesday." People working, and I'm not really out on 11 on Tuesdays usually, but it ended up working out nicely. And actually, we talked to Mercury Lounge today, and they're going to give us a Thursday next time, which, as you know, that
helps.
That helps. So yes, definitely more towards the end of the week.
I could only imagine that's amazing. Be on a Thursday.
That's what I'm saying. We did pretty good. I think we had 130 sold on the Tuesday at night, which I thought was great because again, we're all from Athens, Georgia. None of us really have any family or homies up there, so like you get in the hundreds for us. I was like, yo, you know what I mean? And it's a pretty small room. It's only 200 cap, and so it felt full. It was really fun. We played great. And I was like, oh yeah, now they'll let us do an actual good day. You know, this is like the interview. We passed the audition.
Nice.
Let's try it Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, like I said, you guys are freaking killing the game right now, and I can't wait to get into all of that.
Yes.
But something we love on this show is we always love to like go back and dig a little bit, get to know people like
the very beginning,
dive deep. Exactly.
Love that.
So I would love to know a little bit about, you said you're from Athens.
Rectamundo, yes, sir.
I guess growing up and what that was like for you and music and when you kind of decided you want to do this and what that journey was like for you.
Yeah, man. That's great. I'm glad you guys focus on this. I feel like a lot of interviews kind of skip this whole point. I guess they want to hear about the current kind of stuff, but I think this is important to understanding the current. I think I probably got into music when I was about 10 or 11. I think I consider myself a school of rock. You guys seen that movie with Jack Black? There was a whole reaping of kids after that movie came out. I know you guys are a little younger than me. I'm a bit older, but when that movie came out, everybody was learning how to play and stuff. It was like an explosion. And I picked up the guitar. I wanted to be the guitar guy. That was really what I wanted to do. Really into like Van Halen, like AC/DC, like classic rock kind of stuff. Like dad rock kind of stuff. And I did that for years. Though. I do love. We still play a lot of that stuff. I mean, when we're doing the cover show kind of stuff, we'll play some AC/DC or whatever. But
perfect.
Definitely was totally into that. Wanted to be the Guitar Hero thing. That was my thing for probably like 8 years. And then kind of like you were saying, Jonah, I was like, damn, dude, somebody's gonna have to sing. You know what I mean? It's like I'm either gonna have to find a singer, and it's been tough, as you guys know. It could be tough to find a singer or insert instrument name. So I just started singing. I was like, man, I'm writing these songs. It's not too hard. I think I could do it. Started singing, and that ended up being, probably one of the best decisions I ever made because now I enjoy singing even more than playing guitar. And I've been able to make somewhat of a career out of it so far. So it's been great.
That's amazing.
But I jump forward a lot again.
Yeah.
All right, let me back up. Started just playing, play guitar 6-8 years. Really from a small town. So there wasn't a ton of bands. Like I'm talking like I had 50 people in my graduating class kind of thing. So like it's hard to start a band already in big towns. It was like, imagine a small town, like not too many bass players and drummers running around. You know what I mean? So
I was going to say that before. Jonah relates to, there are no bass players anywhere.
I could totally relate to that. That's why my dad's on bass. Yeah. I'm from a similar town. I'm from Mariposa, right outside Yosemite National Park. It's like my graduating class was like over 100. So it's like, that's crazy that your class was even smaller than mine. Cause I always think that Mariposa is really imagine? Small. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was even like a consolidated school. So it was K through 12 in one school. And I knew every musician in the school, all three of them. You know what I mean? It's like you got slim pickets there. So I was very fortunate though. Once I did graduate, I moved to a great music town, which is, Athens. I was nearby anyways, but just an excellent music scene here. I don't know how much you guys know about it, but hundreds of bands. It pretty much, God, it seems like everybody's in a band here. So many just pop-up bands, people playing one show, and like, I don't know, everybody's got a guitar and play. It's really great town, and there's 80 bars and 4 blocks, so it's like kind of a notorious Southern college town at this point. REM, B-52s, a bunch of those kind of bands stemmed out of here. And once I moved here, though, it was game on, dude, and finding the band became a lot more realistic, a lot easier. And we got going,
Yeah.
Does that answer that well?
Awesome, yeah. I want to ask you a question real quick before we kind of dive more into the next leg. Like I guess growing up or whatever, would you say you came from like a very musical family, or like what's like your background with like, I guess, music in general? Like, because my story is like, I have very musical background. My parents both were in bands. They both did a lot of stuff. I guess I listened to more like pop or whatever when I was younger, and then rock kind of happened when I was like a preteen, and I never looked back after that. But
interesting.
I would love to know like your background.
Yeah, dude, great question.
In that regard.
That's cool that both of your parents were in band and stuff. That's awesome. I didn't have any of that because like I said, they were from the small town too. It was just not really a thing you did. Like I'm talking like country town, like out in the sticks kind of town. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
they weren't really
sure.
interested in music. I mean, they obviously went to shows. You always hear the stories from your parents, like I saw so and so in the '80s. You know, it was awesome. You know, that kind of stuff. But honestly,
Yep.
no relatives whatsoever in the music industry. So it just struck out to me, and I was into it. You know.
Yeah.
That I have been able to pull it off.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well?
No,
yeah,
it definitely does. No,
great.
Yeah, what kind of music? I guess like was it always like classic rock and that kind of stuff? Like it was playing around when you were younger, or anything? Because you said obviously you're from country world. I don't know if you ever listened to country music or like.
Yeah, I actually did go through a little country stage when I was in high school because, you know, like I said, everybody in small towns listened to it. But thank God I, you know, stuck to the guns and the rock and roll. It was always rock. It was always honestly very classic rock heavy. Even stuff that's like kind of considered classic rock now, like Green Day and stuff like that. I was always really into.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yes.
Yeah. No.
I think stuff like that was really key. Just like the really hard rock guitar heavy. You know what I mean? Super into that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then as I've matured and got older, I mean, definitely into more alternative stuff now. That's kind of happening, like, you know, Arctic Monkeys and stuff like that. And I don't know, more of I guess a more alternative, kind of a cheap out way to say it, but like I guess more modern kind of stuff. But I mean, there's definitely still the classic rock thing deep in there. But yeah, man. Does that answer that well?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Awesome. Actually, Jonah, real quick, because Jonah's talked about this on the podcast before, but since you actually brought them up, Jonah has like a fun little. You could just give the abbreviated version, but like a fun Green Day.
Oh yeah, I'll give
Green
the
Day
really
story.
Really, yeah,
give the really short version.
Please do.
Yeah, so my mom lived in the Bay Area, in the like 80s, and then she. Or 70s and 80s, and when she was a kid, she used to take music lessons from this teacher, Miss Fiataroni, which happened to be Billy Joe's music teacher, and they're at the same time. So like when like she was like around the same age, her and her sisters had this like singing trio, and they would play with Billy Joe and his dad as like a finale song for this like little like talent show that they would have playing around the Bay Area.
Dude, that's so cool. That's a great story. That's crazy to be in that area at the same time with the same teachers is a wild coincidence.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Born to be cool. Rock and roll.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah. But no, yeah, that definitely does answer that well. So I would love to know, is like this band that you're in, like, was that like the first thing that you started doing, or like once you went out to Athens, like from there?
Once I went to Athens, it was kind of, I'd always been like I'm like really interested. Like my favorite thing to watch is like music documentaries, and I kind of started to notice this trend in music documentaries that was you know, the band name can be very important to you being able to continue like doing the thing. Yeah, I always like really like my name. Like my full name is Jameson Tankersley. I was like, man, I mean that's kind of good. You shorten it up to Tank. I was like, this could be a way that it could be a band, like a band name, like obviously Van Halen's influence, like Bon Jovi, that's his name, but still the band name, you know what I mean? Like Tom Petty, kind of. It was a way that I could have a band name that I could not control, but like just always be able to be a part of. And it did develop from a solo project, so it was like always the goal to be able to like, oh man, what if two guys leave, the band breaks up, I got to start over, you know? I always felt like if I was going to put my all into something, it needed to be, you know, a certain name or thing that I could, you know, build forever. So,
for sure.
This has been my only project ever. Never, I mean, I've done like little side projects, like sitting in with a band, having a few drinks, and like playing, you know, a couple shows and
acting. Yeah, no, of course, yeah. I think we've all done that stuff. Yeah,
it's always been, you know, my band Jameson Tank has been like, let's just go all in on one thing, and like just see what happens if we keep going. Instead of, you know, a lot of people, they'll start 3 bands and they're just trying to see which one pans out, you know, which is fair too. Nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah. Or there'll be another band that'll end, and then they'll go to another band, and that's what. Yeah, but yeah,
infinitely on. You know, I was trying to just like, all right, let's do one thing really well, and like really work on the branding, and like just tour the hell out of this one thing and make it work. And luckily it's been great. We've had a couple guys. We really haven't had any lineup changes. We've had a couple guys that, like, had to sit in and stuff if a guy was sick or something. Other than that, though, it's always been me and my.
But your main lineup has been pretty.
Yeah,
the same
for 4 years now. Yeah, they're pretty much the same guys, which
nice.
is amazing.
That's
that I
even
got lucky enough to just.
Right. Yeah.
I know,
so do you want to
yeah.
kind of maybe talk a little bit about how, like, who the guys are and like how you met them and how they got involved?
Yeah, if anything, they don't get enough credit, so I'd love to.
For sure,
Firstly, I met Connor Anchorage, who plays drums in the band. He's been drummer since day one. I met him at University of Georgia. We had a class together, music production. It's like a music business class, which is really cool. And I just met him, just knew him, didn't talk to him much, kind of a quiet guy. And then he ended up hitting me up later when I put an ad on Craigslist, like looking for bandmates in Athens, which is like a classic Athens thing to do. I don't know if anybody still uses Craigslist, but put an ad.
I found my dog on Craigslist. It was the greatest investment I ever made.
Yes. Really?
I always look for amps on Craigslist.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a hidden gem now, but it used to be really popular.
The website is somehow older than the internet, if that's possible, but it works.
It predates the internet, yes. And lucky enough that he hit me back up, and I knew him. He was like, "Hey, it's Connor. We had a music business class together. I would love to come play drums sometime." And that was like, oh yes, just somebody I know. Because when you put something on Craigslist, you don't know if you're going to hear from like an 85-year-old dude that plays guitar or like a 10-year-old that's like on their mom's phone, like trying to just go jam with somebody. So I was very fortunate that it was anybody like near my age and honestly kind of fit the brand. And he came and jammed, and that was great.
Sure.
And the same thing happened for my guitarist, Bryce Burnett, who, if anything, is the heart of the band. He's got really big bushy afro, and he's a good kid. And he did the same thing. He hit awesome. On Craigslist. He came. I remember we played Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne. We played a Bon Jovi song. Played a bunch of stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, this is the guy, This is the guy, And he played good. His energy was good. His energy was about like y'all's when this podcast started, just amped up, I was like, "All right, I like this guy, And,
I like that already. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the two guys. They've been with me since day one, and we're still touring together, still getting along great. And then Hobby on the bass is the only one where we had one guy sit in before him. He didn't even play a show. We only did practice together, so I don't even really count it. But Hobby came in. We had a show in 2 weeks that I had booked, and I was like, all right, if we don't find a bass player, I'll buy a bass and play. Just wanted to play so bad. And Hobby came in 2 weeks before a gig. Javier Solorzano is his name. And he was like,
nice.
Up all
that.
the songs. He was like, you guys playing Metallica? You guys like any of that stuff? I was like, yeah.
How'd you meet him?
Same thing, Craigslist, dude. He plays pilots on Craigslist.
Your whole band was from Craigslist?
We call ourselves the Craigslist band, man. Very rare. Craigslist band, as we call it.
Imagine if that was the band name.
The magical place.
That'd be the perfect, I know, dude. It's crazy. And, I mean, this being said, though, the Craigslist ad was up for a while. Like, the ad was probably up for, like, 2 years, something like that. So there's a couple guys, came in and, like, we just jammed and didn't pan out. But, I don't know. I tried lucky, man. And it's been those same 4 guys touring. We haven't had any. If somebody can't make it, we usually just won't do the gig because I don't like to have somebody sit in. I don't want anybody to see us at like 75% strength. You know what I mean? So
fair enough.
There's been like a couple that we played without Hobby on the bass because he was sick or something. That was it. So yeah, I take a lot of pride in it. It is a band, and although the name is my name, it could be misleading as to it being a solo act or whatever. We have played all together, and we're creeping up on like 250 shows. So it's been a lot.
Wow.
That's incredible.
So I guess my next question from that is, because I'm actually really fascinated and also getting to learn, I guess, a lot from it, because I think you guys have really mastered this game in this way. Like, once the band kind of came together, what was the process for you guys to start playing shows, start promoting, and then like start getting more I would love to get a little bit
great
into
question,
that.
Man. It was pretty the learning curve at the start is definitely huge. It was interesting because we played first without like any promo or anything, and our first show was out of town. We drove to Atlanta and played because that was just a gig I could get. But it was a really quick, like, you got to get a lot of music fast kind of thing, and you got to be available a lot kind of thing. Like, you can't really say no to anything early, that like if you get offered, you can't be like, like kind of like I was talking about Mercury Lounge earlier. If you get offered a Tuesday and you're a new band, you can't be like, oh, we really need a Thursday, because they're like, dude, you played 10 shows, you know, like you played 5 shows, like you have no hitting power.
Yeah, exactly.
So like at the start, kind of like I was saying, another thing about the guys all being down and wanting to tour and stuff, everybody was available, and we were just like, all right, we're gonna play. If you guys join the band, we're gonna play as much as we can, and we just started doing that. We started doing Athens, we started doing Atlanta, we started doing Augusta, which is nearby Georgia town. Started doing Statesboro, and then it,
I have a question for you, real quick.
Go ahead.
Actually, in that,
yeah, please.
Before we get into more of that, so when you guys were doing early gigs, because how is it? It might be different up here or where he is, but at least in this area, it's a lot of like, how many people you're gonna bring? What's your following like? Like, what was that like for you guys?
Dude, yeah.
If that was the case or if that wasn't.
It definitely was, and it still is, because I was talking to a different New York City venue today. It's called Sultan Room. It's a nice room, and they were asking how many people. They wanted to know how many people we thought we could bring and how many people we brought out in Mercury Lounge and stuff. But in the beginning, like you asked, we were playing places so small that they weren't really asking. And honestly, if they asked, I would high estimate them. I'd be like, yeah, we can bring 60, and I probably 6 folks would come, you know. Just I knew if we could get in the door. I know that sounds kind of wrong when I say it out loud, but like, it's just a band being eager. And it's like, I know if we can get in the door, like we can show them that we know how to do a show, and we'll let our support carry. You know, we'll get good support that's local. Like, we'll do everything we can do to make it a good show. But if they were like, we need you to bring 80s bodies out, I'd just be like, yes, we'll do our best. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that might not be the best.
In that,
advice.
so I guess.
Go ahead.
So I guess in that, like building the following for you guys, like how it was that, is it just been all through like live shows and people going to those shows and bringing people in, or any like?
No, it's been all live shows, all word of mouth, kind of just willed it in. Like I'm saying, like, you know, just like took the chance on booking the show, and like always just like worked our ass off to, you know, poster up and flyer and IG ads and telling everybody I knew in the neighborhood. And you know, I used to post on Reddit that we were coming to certain towns. I'd go to Charlotte Reddit and say, hey, Charlotte, we're coming to play, you know, or High Energy Rock if you're into that.
Wow.
Really just willed it in, kind of like just being like, all right, we're going to play, and we're not going to worry about if the room is full. We're going to just do our thing and promote as hard as we can and get the best bands we can to play with us. And, you know, eventually there will be people there. But yeah, I mean, this definitely is a daunting thing when you're like, oh man, I hope they don't know that we can't pull a lot of people, because like, you know, they won't book us. I mean, I would just advise to never mention it and do your best to put together a good bill. You know, a good bill can save all. You know, if you show the venue you can build a good show, which is rare for them. They have a million bands email them every day that are just like, hey man, can you put us on like this great opening slot? And the venue's like, no, you haven't proved anything to us. You haven't built any relationship. You haven't showed that you can do one ticket. You know. Our method was, let's show them we can do some tickets. You know, let's show them that we'll work it out. And you know, if we didn't do a lot of tickets, which believe me, happened a lot, I would email them the next day, say, hey, sorry, our turnout wasn't as good. Like, I appreciate it. I'll get better support next time. We'll work harder next time. You know what I mean? Just followed up, very honest with them and everything, except for how many bodies we could pull, and just tried our best. Yeah. Does that kind of answer that decent? You know?
Yeah. No, that's actually really helpful.
Of course,
I would love to know. Have you guys like done any like in that? Because I obviously did some internet promotion, obviously, because you're saying like going to Reddit or like seeing people online in those areas come out. Have you guys done any like I guess obviously, or if my question is, have you used social media as a tool to collect people who have seen you live, or have you been more, or have you promoted on there to attract people to gigs, or both, or vice versa? Or
I'd say both, but it's really, I guess it depends on how you consider the promotion of it. Like, I'm not on there like trying to make like viral clips.
Like, have you run ads like on Instagram or anything like that?
I haven't had a ton of success with them, honestly, but I just try to make I call it like culture content. What I would try to do from day one is when we did do shows, I would always hire a photographer, which is kind of a no-brainer earlier. And I would always just tell them to get crowd shots. So like, you get crowd shots, and people kind of want to see themselves in it if they came, and then they kind of share that, and it kind of stems into like, oh, seems like a lot of people go to these Jameson Tank shows. Or like, oh dang, that's a big crowd there, you know, or oh dang, that's my buddy right there, you know. And we're still doing that. We to this day, like when we're playing Greek life shows or college shows, like crowd shots are kind of like an investment upon yourself, and it's kind of like, maybe the best thing you can have is like a picture of you with a big crowd, is to get venues interested, to get people interested. because you're kind of like not tricking, but you're like you're trying to convince everybody that you're a big band or worth seeing or
it shows that you could draw.
You know? Right? Yeah, yeah. And even if it's like a
100%.
festival crowd or somewhere where you didn't draw, like a Greek like event or something or a fraternity, you still want to capture that so that because people don't know that. Like if you saw a picture of us playing in front of 400 people, you'd be like, "Damn, they got a lot of pull, don't they?" When you don't know, it's a private event and they were there for the party and we just played. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying you're tricking.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
You get what I mean, though. You're kind of utilizing the show.
No, it's marketing. It's marketing. Right. That's marketing.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So, sounds like you're really smart at it too.
Thank you.
Which is why I hope you don't mind. I'm like picking your brain here because I want to like learn.
No, I love it.
I have a question.
I hope. Oh, please. Yeah, go ahead, Jonah.
Yeah. You mentioned that you guys play college shows. Like, what's the process like for playing those? Because like I've been curious about playing college shows because like that's
I as well.
That's the best demographic for us right now. It's like
it
what
really is, man.
Like, do you like contact the college or like talk to like frats or like?
It's usually frats. We're from the South, so it's a little different. Like Greek life, which is the same thing as frats and sororities, kind of really like runs the show in these colleges, like UGA, Alabama, Clemson, anything in the SEC, ACC. Like those colleges, I mean, the majority of a lot of their money and students coming and everything is from fraternities. So to answer your question and get in the scene, really what we did was we would play the bars, very cheap, very long gigs. They usually won't covers, you know how it is. And like really just bar gigs. You would play bar gigs with the expectation of meeting college people that will get you into college shows, fraternity shows, sorority shows. And again, we're pretty much still doing this. Like our show today, you kind of like go play the bar, and you've got to be really good, of course. But you go crush the bar that the college kids hang out with. You meet them, you mingle. You know, you say, "Hey, we want to play college events." So y'all come say hey after. You know, if you had a good time, or say hey during, even if you had a good time. And just slowly, it'd be like, "Oh, we went and played in Clemson. That was the first place we went. It's a just a little southern college town. Only 4 bars there. We went and played." Literally just like knocked the roof off. There's only 4 bars, so everybody's kind of already there in the spot. Went and played, knocked the roof off. That night, I think we got 2 college contacts, and I just texted those guys until they booked us, at their fraternity. And then it kind of snowballs from that because all the frat people hang out and they talk, and they, that gig leads to the next one, and same kind of thing. Next thing the college is hitting you up to do the festival that they do. That they have a festival and they'll have like T-Pain headline. That's what all the Southern colleges do. They'll have like one big rapper headline, and then they do side stages with local bands. And just kind of snowballs. Awesome. Is that kind of? I mean, I don't know if that explains that well, but I think the really
that's
very
awesome.
Well.
That shows like how important networking is. Like even at like at all
so you guys
levels.
Purposely colleges, It's like you purposely targeted college towns to get those 100% connections.
Did, and kind of still am, man. What we do is we target college towns in the semesters, of course. So from August to November, we target, every college town in the SEC in the U.S., honestly, that we can get our hands on. And then the same thing from February to May. And then from June to July, we focus on the big markets or the like grown-up markets, as we call them, like Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, New York City, Boston, places that aren't really college towns. Because you don't want to be playing those in the semester. Because if you're driving to New York City in September and there's a million college towns that have bars or fraternity events, like you're going to cost yourself money. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Basically, what you're doing is you're targeting all these college towns. You're playing these college gigs. You're using them to build up promotion, get fans, and then kind of using that fan base that you're collecting in those near areas to get them to come to those bigger shows that you're doing in those
they always move to those bigger markets after college.
Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you, man. Because everybody in Athens moves to Atlanta.
Jonah,
that is
pretty
gold.
good, right?
Exactly.
Dude, that's
we're like we can tell we're like wide-eyed kids right now. This is crazy. This is amazing, man.
I can answer anything y'all want. This is what I do for a living, man. So I'm glad you guys are getting some value out of it. I wish more bands would latch onto it, man. A lot of bands don't get the the methodology behind it. I've been very fortunate to be able to do it full time and study it kind of, and it's been working really well.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, the college is where most acts stem from that have success, and then after that, everybody that lives in those college towns, they don't live there forever. Everybody that's in Athens moves to New York City. They move to Charlotte. They move to Atlanta. Everybody that's in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, they don't stay there forever. Usually, they move to Raleigh, North Carolina. They move to Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. So it's kind of like your audience can grow and kind of span out of that. And I mean, we've seen success with that,
100%.
So we've been like, we go to New York City and we see a couple dogs that graduated that used to see us at the bar. And they're like, oh my God, we used to see you guys at Boar's Head when nobody knew who you were, like the little college bar in Athens, So it's kind of
100%,
my method for the madness right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That, I honestly, I know. I feel like I'm a little bit lost for words, which is by the way, it's a rare thing for me.
Yeah, it's a rare thing for Nick to be at a loss for words.
But it's I just thank you again for like doing this. This is like problem. I know we're not even done yet, but I just want to thank you in the middle where like not middle, but like before it's over, because
we can do this whenever you guys want, man. I love doing stuff like this because I mean, like I said, this is what I do for a living now, and I've been very fortunate to do it. And I'm down to help bands out because, like, like I said, I mean, you didn't even realize this to an extent until I'm saying it, but especially being where you're from, like, obviously less of a college scene, so like you wouldn't even know, I'm from where college scene is like peak, and if it can help you guys bands do better and get into it, I'm sure you can implement this exact method where you guys are, so.
100%.
That's important. Yeah. I feel like Nick and I have talked about this a couple times, but we kind of feel like compared to like the 80s and 90s, like the music scene nowadays, like bands don't like help each other out as much, and it's like, especially with social media, it's very divided because everyone's like doing their own thing. People see people on social media, like here and there you'll get connections, like I find it so cool that you guys met over social media. It's like that's one of the benefits, but like I feel like one of the big cons is that it's divided people a lot as well. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, it's a tricky thing because I mean, I still feel a lot of that too. As we become a quote unquote bigger band, it's like you kind of see like even us. It's like, oh, we're not gonna open for them. That doesn't make sense for us as a brand now. You know what I mean? Like in certain places, like they wouldn't open for us. Insert bigger band in their hometown. If that makes sense. So you kind of got.
No, that makes 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of got to try not to look at it as like a competition thing. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I hear what you're saying. Like a lot of people are reluctant to help each other out. I met a couple of guys that are really stingy on like, no, this bar only gets a certain amount of bands a year, and like I don't want to be giving away all that stuff. Man, forget all that, dude. If you guys want my whole list of emails, y'all just hit me up. I don't care. It means it's not like that. It shouldn't be like that. I don't think.
Yeah. No, so I 100% agree.
And the more bands you help out, the more often you're going to get helped out. Like, I mean, there's bands in Boone that I played with one time that, half our tour books itself because bands are like, oh, man, remember that time you let us play with us at Insert Bar? Like, do you guys want to come back this semester? We want to get y'all back up there this semester. Like, we appreciate it, and just, being a good band to other bands, like, that's going to do you more favors than it will hurt you, Whereas,
I was actually going to ask about that, right? about dates and stuff, like booking all those tour dates and stuff. Has it been a lot of cold calling or email? Has there been a lot of recommendation? Like, what would you say it's more
it's been almost all email. Very rarely does the venue almost never hit us up. I guess cold calling, people ask me about that a lot. I would say unless you mean metaphorical cold calling, like literally, I don't think there's any venues that answer the phone. You know what I mean?
No. I meant metaphorically speaking, gotcha. Like just like reaching out to people without any relationship tied. Yeah.
Gotcha. I did have a buddy ask me the other day. He's like, dude, I keep calling all these venues, they don't answer. I'm like, dude, I really don't think any of them have an agent that has a number that's going to answer. They're going to want you to email them. But now, okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess my question is, reaching out to has it been more of you reaching out to venues or being recommended or 100% for an opening slot or both? Or
for all of these, it's been reaching out. I'd say very few things have come to us from venue or from the source other than like a homie up the bar being like, yo, you've got to book this band kind of thing. And on the cold calling, it's kind of one of those things where you build up the resume, and that's what the bars and the venue want to see. Like, they want to see, like I was talking about earlier with Mercury Lounge, I'm going to reference that again. They want to see you build a relationship with them and build a relationship with other venues that is credible. Like, the reason we can get booked I mean, not anywhere we want, but anywhere that's like 300 cap or less, is because we're playing 120 shows a year, and because we've got the pictures of the crowd of 600 people at some of them, and the crowd at 300 people at others, because we have the touring history that shows that, oh, these guys are all in, and because we've got other bands in the city that want to play with us, and we can put together a bill like that, and because, I mean, all that stuff kind of adds up into when I hit a venue up, cold call, you know what I mean? They're like, oh shit, these guys got it going on. They just pitched me a whole bill. They sent me an exact date they need. They sent me their ticket history in the market. These guys know what they're doing. This feels like I'm dealing with an agent, and they kind of are, because I've taken the agent role. But if you're gonna come at the venue and be like, oh, we're this new band, we played a couple shows, like we don't have any videos, we don't have any pictures, like we really just want you to take this huge shot on us. We have no track record, no evidence that we even know how to hold a show efficiently and not get on your nerves as an agent. Take this big shot on us, all right, And venue's like, not responding to that email, you know what I mean? I'm not wasting my time with that. And I get it.
100%.
100%. That's somewhat fair, I know it's really hard when you're starting band and you don't have any pictures, you don't have any crowd and stuff, but all you can do is play the opportunities you get and photograph them well and use that as your resume to build yourself up,
1,000%, man. No, that makes a total sense.
Good. Okay.
So, my I guess my question for that is kind of going back to that is, and I've obviously everyone should check it out. By the way, if you haven't been on their website, you should go to jamesontang.com.
Please.
But yeah, I've definitely done some perusing and some research before we did this interview and stuff. So you guys are working with like are they a booking agent, or is it like a private, like how does that?
We have two now, or if you include us kind of. So we're on, we did that for a while, freelance, I was booking all the gigs. I'm obviously the, like the management behind us still even, because I love it, obviously.
You're like a band leader. You're the band leader, basically.
Yes,
so you're doing a lot of the,
all of the social media, all that stuff, all the website stuff, everything I could do is me. And eventually, we were crushing, doing a lot of shows. I think it was about a year and a half ago, we got picked up by Crescent Moon Entertainment, which is an entertainment company out of Nashville. Now, the kids for them, though, all they do is our private events. So they do all our Greek life and all our college shows now. Even if I get hit up, I send it over to them because he's a pro. His name's Chip Staley. He's a really great guy. He's booked us probably 50 gigs since we signed on with him. And that's so that I can, use my time more better to, promote the band and book all our original shows. But that was a huge thing. You get, that's another thing with the agents. You kind of have to show the agent that you're already crushing. They don't want to sign somebody that's not doing anything. You know what I mean? And we were already playing.
It's like a label.
Shows.
It's like a label. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Booking agent usually leads to a label in theory, but it was the same thing. He was like, "Hey, you guys are playing a lot. You guys are doing great. I hear you guys' name all the time. I looked at the pictures. I looked at the videos. Looks great. We'd love to help you book some shows." And that's pretty much how it started. And now he books all of our college events, which is great because I don't have to do them. And he's great at it. He's better at me. He's full time. Been doing it for about 25 years. And that frees me up to do all the original shows. So any original shows like Mercury Lounge, Georgia Theater, Jefferson Theater, those all are me still cold calling them and hitting them up. And does that answer that well?
Nice.
I almost forgot the question. It was
that's amazing. Yeah. I only have one other thing that I have something that I think is actually very important. Not that I don't have a ton of things to ask you, obviously, but one other thing I really want to make sure of is. You were talking about you guys started doing covers and stuff. So what was that transition process to playing covers, to doing original songs, to releasing music and getting original gigs instead of cover gigs? And
that's still huge, man.
Yeah.
It's a huge transition. It's one of those things that I've debated deeply with a lot of bands, because I think it can be a serious weapon that you can use for your own advantage. And it's worth noting, great question, by the way, because it's going to give some context to these college shows and stuff. A lot of the bar gigs that I mentioned earlier that we were taking, they wanted 3 hours. They wanted mainly covers, You kind of got to tell them.
I know those gigs very well. I came from the cover band circuit. So
they can be very soul-sucking. They can be very long. But the guarantees, the money can keep you alive. And you meet people there that will become a fan of you and become a fan of the originals. So we did that for a while, man. There was a good stretch in the first year or so where we were doing mainly those cover bar gigs, almost entirely covers.
Okay.
It's like, when you're a young band, you're kind of scared. It's like, oh, this cover bar said I need to do all covers. Like, I better do all covers and not play our originals, which we had as well. But eventually you just kind of get to where the name is big enough, and we play the originals no matter what now. It doesn't matter how long the set is, But
are you guys still doing covers and stuff live, or is it mostly originals now?
It's mostly originals now, but we only do them when the set is, like I said, like 3 hours. Like, we don't have 3 hours of originals yet. We try to avoid those kind of shows now just because we're not a cover band anymore. But if the offer's right and the college needs us at 3 hours, we absolutely will throw some AC/DC in there and give them a good time.
Hell yeah.
That's the thing, though, is that we were able to do both, which is important, because most bands just, I totally get it. They're like,
just want to do one or the other. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to do one or the other. We're going to be an all-cover band, or we're going to be an all-original band. Totally respect either one. But a great tip of advice I would say is, if there's any way you can do both, it'll benefit the one you want to benefit more. So, like, if you can do the covers, it'll get you, say you did the cover show in Charlottesville, Virginia, and 200 people are in the bar, and you get the great picture. Then you can go, hey, 200 cat venue in Charlottesville, that's just originals. Hey, we just played here, and there's 300 people here. We made some fans. We'd love to come play your spot. 45-minute original set. It can lead to that.
Nice.
And they say, oh, wow, you got a picture.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Let's do it, So I think you could do yourself a lot of favors.
Oh, that is so smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some bands totally get away with never doing.
So you always what's your process for that?
What do you mean?
Do you hire local photographers every place that you go, or do you have someone with you, or?
Yes, I still do that when we're on the road. We have one guy that we bring with us. His name is we call him Eighth Ball. His Instagram name is Eighth Ball. He's a really good cat, great photographer from Raleigh, North Carolina. Got it. And we tour up through it a lot. So if we're ever in his area, he comes and shoot us. But what I do the same kind of thing. I post on Reddit, need a concert photographer tonight, Knoxville, Tennessee. If I know it's going to be a big show, if I think it's going to be a smaller one, sometimes I'll skip it. But anything where it's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of people there tonight. There's a certain social equity or cultural equity to having great pictures as a band. You know what I mean? Go scroll through our Instagram if you get a chance, and you'll notice that it's crowd shots.
Oh, you have a whole gallery on your website too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right.
No, I totally get it.
Yes, it's show that you are a band that people come to see, which we are now, which is great. But yeah, I think investing, and it's going to suck because in the start,
not that you guys were fakers or anything, like you said, it's not lying or anything, but it is fake it till you make it. That's how this industry can be a lot.
I 100% think it is, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But you guys wouldn't be where you are now if you weren't actually good. So it's it's just marketing.
Yes,
at that point.
I think
you know what I mean?
Marketing is the best way to look at it. It's important though, because a lot of it's tough when you're only making $100 a night on your 10th show, and you go, man, the photographer's $75. It's we're not going to make any money. It's you'll make yourself more money later if you photograph this now and use it. Be smart with it. If the pre-sales at 7, maybe skip the photographer, but if it looks like it's going to be a great show, invest in yourself and say, hey, this is going to get me more gigs down the road. And we've been able to do that.
Yeah.
And, kind of like you said, just I think a lot of it is faking it. A lot of it is marketing yourself. A lot of it is presenting yourself as hey, we're this band that you should come see. Hey, there's something going on here that other people are taking on to. I call it willing your way, or I don't even really say that. It sounds weird when I say it, but kind of will your way into it, or control your own destiny kind of stuff. That's why we've always tried to
I get
headline.
It. Mm-hmm. I 100% get that, yeah.
Right? It's I would rather headline and be in fully control of how well the show goes than open. We really haven't done a ton of opening because of that mindset that I kind of have in the business sense. It's if I can headline and get in good with the venue and show the venue that we're the ones that pull in, and show the town that we're a headliner, that will make people want to come,
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I understand. It's the mentality of it's really got to be someone who's really far ahead of me to open for this.
Present yourself as that, and then bands look at our Instagram now and they want to open. They're like, yo, these guys play a lot, the crowds are big. We want to open for this band. And when we started, it wasn't like that. You guys know how it is. It's hard to get a really good band with a lot of pull to headline or just throw you on a bill or open for you. They're like, we're bigger, we don't really need some small new band on the bill, kind of thing. So like I said, just kind of willing your way 100%. Into it. Yeah, positioning yourself, marketing yourself, make yourself a bigger band, yourself.
Yeah. A million times percent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit about something, and then we could do all the promotion and stuff. And
Dude,
this has been like this has gone by so freaking quickly, but it's been so much great depth knowledge. I want to ask you guys about, because we kind of touched on it for a second, but you guys transitioned to originals. What's your process for original music like writing wise, recording wise, and releasing? And what are you guys doing now as far as everything?
Yeah, it's really been a changing process as our income has gone up. We've been able to obviously spend more time in nicer studios, which is huge, and that's another restriction when you're a small band is you don't have much money to spend on studio to track your drums well, so you cut corners and you put out stuff you're not proud of, kind of usually is what happens. But we're very fortunate now we've been writing all the songs together because we're such a tight unit. We'll get in there and jam them. We play them all live to a click, which is kind of weird, but I love doing because we can go in and edit. And we're working on an album now. We are 6 songs, or maybe 7 songs into the album, recorded and mixed, all recorded at the same spot, all kind of have a similar vibe. It really feels like an album, and it feels like we're honestly onto something. I want to send it to you guys, see what you think, but it's like we've been showing it to people, and
hell yeah, man.
I would love to
send you guys to
listen to it.
Yeah. It's gonna. I think it's gonna be. That's our plan for fall. Low key is the album is gonna come out, and we're gonna have just a massive tour, our biggest tour yet to support it.
Well, you guys heard it here first on Rev Rock Revolution.
Nobody
Jameson Tank.
Yeah. So
coming at it. Yeah,
we're in a really good spot. We bought ourselves some time, and we're cooking so far out on it. Like this thing won't come out till September, and it's almost, it's getting nearly done, and obviously already thinking about promo. Like it's gonna be a big thing. And we've just been recording them. We've been tracking them as a band through a Neve console, like a very nice old school console in a famous Athens recording studio. We got an amazing producer, Ryan Endelberg is his name, and it feels like something a little different.
Okay,
I'm excited about it. The whole band's like there's a vibe there. It doesn't sound like 10 unrelated songs. It sounds like there's a through line that is very interesting musically, and
very cohesive.
Humbly, but. Yeah, it feels like a first album.
No, I 100% get where you're at. That's incredible. Yeah, it's an exciting place to be in, because it seems like you said as the income has been coming in, not just from shows. I imagine too, you guys do merch and all that kind of stuff as well.
It's been it's really bought us the time to. I mean, we probably spent about $10K on the album right now, which is quite the investment, as you know what I mean. Not that it's about the money, but what I mean is we've been able to chill out in the studio and experiment. Like we've been in one of the nicest studios in Athens, Georgia, Chase Park, just like sitting in there, just like coming in with no song and writing a song. One of the best songs in the album. We just showed up and wrote and played together and got it done that day. So that kind of freedom has helped the music, and that kind of financial freedom has been like, oh, what do you mean we don't have to track 6 songs in this one session and mix them today too? You know what I mean? So it's been huge, and
exactly.
I think the recordings reflecting that. We've been showing people, and I'm not gonna lie, they've been like, "Yo, dude, this is not what y'all have been putting out. What y'all been putting out is good, but this is crazy." So, I hope we're on to something. I'll have to send it to you guys.
1,000%, man. I totally. Please do 100,000%. I don't know what happened to Jonah here, but hopefully everybody can still see him on the recording. I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened. But this has been so much knowledge, and I think the audience is gonna eat this up. I have been. I know Jonah has been. If you guys kind of want to, if you want to talk a second about what you guys are doing right now, what's going on in the near future, where everybody can check you out online, in person. What you got coming up, all the things. Yeah.
Totally, man. Yes. Thank you guys for having me on. We've just been touring full time. We're on a little bit of a break for summer right now, but our West run is in a couple weeks. We're doing Athens, almost the entire state of Colorado. We're doing 6 cities, New Mexico, Albuquerque, Austin, Texas. We're doing a whole run this summer. Come see us. There's tickets on our website. And then in the fall, as I mentioned, we're doing
everybody go to jamesontank.com.
Yes, go to jamesontank.com. We have merch, all that stuff, shipping. We got discounts on merch. If you want a discount, just DM me. I'll give you a code. I think it's it might be Tank 30 for 30% off or something like that. Yep. The merch keeps us alive in the summer and keeps us making music, so I appreciate that. But yeah, dude, just putting together more shows. Hope more people come to see us. Hope people love the album we're going to put out. We just put out an EP a couple months ago, if you want to check that out. Love being on the show, man. Thank you, dude. I'd be down to do this again, man, sometime if you guys want to do one next month.
Let's please. Dude, maybe we can do
we'd love to have you back.
I think we could do something. Yeah. Maybe we could, bring in the band. We could do something like that. That could be a lot of fun.
They're cool cats too, man. They talk your ears off. That'd be awesome, and we could do.
Nice.
I enjoyed this. The production quality is great on you guys. You guys are great interviewers. I love talking music. I love.
Thank you. That really means a lot, man.
That really means a lot because we threw this. We've basically thrown this show together, like you said.
Dude,
we faked it till we make it with this show. Like we've just thrown it together and been out there and doing it. And
this will help your band, man. This is another thing.
Man.
I have a podcast that I did. I haven't been doing as much lately because we've been touring so hard. But the podcast helps the band because people, know your face, and then the bands you get on, people become a fan of you through them. Like if they're a fan of that band and they watch this. Then they're like, oh, I got to check out Nick's music. I got to check out Jonah's music, and you'll just learn more about it. This is how I learned all this stuff, dude. Podcasting other bands, asking bigger bands how they did. It's good that you guys are asking questions, man. It's like there's a longevity thing here you can earn by being smart and not just being like, oh man, the industry's got me down. Like we're a small band and nothing's happening. You guys are out there trying to figure out what's happening. So.
This episode, I learned so much.
You guys want.
I love your energy as well.
Yeah. Awesome.
Dude, I can't wait to have
thank you
back,
so much
man.
again for being here. This has been one of the most valuable episodes ever. I mean, the interviews, Jonah, we've been having lately are crazy, mind-blowing things, and this it fits. Yeah.
Good. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, for sure. 100, and hopefully, maybe definitely, do shows together, see each other in real life, and do stuff in the future.
Play with you. If you come to California, I'll definitely come out to a show as well. I want to see you guys rocking.
And then Jonah, next year, planning the California run, so we'll be out your way pretty early in the year. So maybe we could play with both of y'all at some point, man. It'd be great. Yeah,
nice, awesome.
I'm with it.
My name is Jonah Doc and I.
Dude.
I
want to play with you.
Of course, 100%. I'm looking forward to all the new music, all the shows,
for
watching you guys grow, because you guys have already been killing the game.
Thank you, brother.
And well, until next time, my name is Nick Valley.
Love it.
And this is Rev Rock Revolution. And thank you so much, Jameson. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Good, man. Peace.